Okay, this is pretty big. I had the chance recently to speak with Ric Edelman for a goRIA podcast, and that is dropped today. It's right on top of goRIA.com. You can see the link to the full podcast there. But as I like to do normally on Wednesday afternoons, but I couldn't yesterday, so I'm doing it today on a Thursday afternoon, is put a spotlight on what is new. And holy smoke, that's some pretty big news for what is new on goRIA. So check that out. And what I will do is I like to do on these usually Wednesday, but today Thursday afternoons, is I'm going to give you a little clip in just a moment. But, again, as I say, if you're listening to this live stream, you already know who Ric Edelman is. He and his wife created the country's largest financial planning firm, over $300 billion in assets under management, a hugely successful talk show host, a best-selling author. In fact, he just released another book, talk about prolific, that advisors are really going to find very useful for college planning and talking about college planning with their clients. What you may not know as well as some of his other accolades is he's quite the philanthropist. There's the Ric and Jean Edelman Planetarium. We talk about that as part of his origin story and how that evolved. And also, even more recently, the Jean and Ric Edelman Fossil Park and Museum, which actually is in New Jersey, not too far from Philadelphia. So if you're in the Northeast, very easy to get to. And what I found to be incredibly impressive with that was that the Smithsonian actually called it out as one of the top 5 most anticipated new museums that opened, which I thought was a great accolade to add on top of his many, many other accolades. So, but this particular podcast, we talk about his college book, we talk about his origin story, his work in philanthropy, which I think is fascinating. But we really focus on his work educating advisors about crypto. And that was really the heart of this particular podcast. So if you are crypto curious, this will be a great one for you to listen to. And as a little teaser, he does go on record stating that somewhere between 10 to 40% allocation to crypto for many clients, if not most clients, is what he targets, which I thought was a little bit higher than what a lot of advisors are thinking. And he gives some really good rationale for why that is. So here's a little kind of taste of what Ric and I spoke about. Edelman. With that said, Ric, welcome to the show.
Chuck, thank you so much for that intro. Great to be with you. Good to see you again.
It was really great to see you as well, and I appreciate you taking some time here. And I know we are going to talk about crypto today, but I would be remiss if we didn't mention the fact that you do a lot of work as well in higher education. You taught. We're not going to talk about this necessarily today, but you also, I don't know where you find the time for all of this necessarily, but you also just wrote a book, The Truth About College. Can you give us a few sentences on that, please?
Sure. College has been a mainstay of the financial planning practice my wife and I built for decades. College is, I think, every parent's biggest worry, right? Because we all know how expensive college is today, $250,000 to $400,000 for a bachelor's. And if you've got 3 kids, times 3. So it's a big fear, big worry for parents. And we know the higher ed is broken. College, that's why I wrote The Truth About College, a guide for parents and teens to help answer the key questions. Should the teen go? And if so, to what school and majoring in what? And how do you really make sure the kid is going to emerge from college in 4 years with a degree, debt-free? So the book is a wonderful guide that advisors are going to turn to as a great client add-on tool to give to their clients because it's a wonderful way to demonstrate that you can help them with a college planning question as part of the overall financial planning services you provide.
That sounds good to me. And I tell you what, that is absolutely top of mind for me. I've got a senior in high school and a junior in high school. So I'll be looking through that book. And if we can get you back on perhaps later this year, we'd love to do a deep dive into that as well, if that's good with you.
That'd be great. Love to.
All right. Fantastic. So, but let's pivot to the topic at hand today, which will be crypto in general, right? So you are also, and again, I don't know where you have the time for all this, but you are the founder of the Digital Assets Council of Financial Professionals. And we're going to talk about that. So if you would please give us a broad overview on that, but give us a little taste on what this council is all about.
Oh, I got involved in crypto back in 2012. That's when I first heard about Bitcoin. And nobody goes looking for Bitcoin. You hear about it. It comes to you. And my reaction back in 2012 was the same as everybody's reaction the first time you hear about Bitcoin. Huh? What? Digital money? What do we need that for? And unlike I've discovered over the last decade, unlike most who just tend to dismiss it out of hand, if it's not a fraud, it's a fad. My attitude is that, if I'm presented with something new and different that I don't understand, that doesn't make any sense to me, and I didn't understand Bitcoin. It didn't make any sense.
Everything
My
with the
attitude is
richest
to
investments. I was like,
try to learn more,
really? And
try
of
to
course, like every other
understand what
advisor, I've
this
been hearing
is, how
about
does it
it.
work, why
Like
does
you
it work?
mentioned earlier, I don't know much about it. I was dismissive of it, and now we just see it go up and up and up. And that's why I was really, really eager for this. So let me start off asking it this way. I believe you're on record saying that individuals, or at least some or many individuals, should have something in the order of 20 to 30 or 40% in crypto. Do I have that right?
Close. I
Okay.
released a white paper on summer of 25 saying that you should have between 10 and 40%
Okay.
of your portfolio in crypto.
All right. How did you get to be comfortable with that?
Well, I've been in pretty deep in the space
Yeah.
since 2012. I spend probably about a third of my time in the crypto community. And I know the technology, I know the business scenario, and I know the crypto players really well. And my research and engagement in the field for the past, what
Okay.
is it now,
So
12,
again, leaving you
13
with a bit of a
years.
cliffhanger, he goes on record 10 to 40% and has some really good reasons for why that makes sense. I should also tell you too, as part of his commitment to educating advisors about crypto, he has a really phenomenal conference each year. It's going to be in June in Dallas this particular year. I will be there myself covering it for goRIA.com. So that's something if you're really interested in crypto, try to make it down to Dallas. If you can't make it in June, stay tuned on goRIA and we'll be bringing you that information live as it happens in June. Okay, so that's it for today. I will be back next Wednesday, back on our normal Wednesday track at 3 o'clock Eastern Time with what is or what will be new then on goRIA.com. Thanks for joining me.